Hi, Patty. How are you?
Hi, Jenny.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. We were just having a technical issue with noise. Jen and I just had to log back off, and hopefully here she comes. Hey, Nancy, how's it going? Hi. So good to see you, Jen.
Hi. Can't hear you, Jenny.
Everyone else can hear me, so I think. Test, test. Can everyone else hear me okay?
Now we're good.
Yay, good. Technology, it always throws a kink in things, huh? Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. And Jen, I know a few more people are joining us, but let's get going. You all are in for a treat with my dear friend, Jen Gottlieb. She is the manifesting amazing. I want to call you fairy. Why am I wanting to call you a fairy right now? I don't know, because you're truly magical. It's like she has a magic wand. The things that she has manifested in her life are incredible. And the way that she's done it, and I'm going to let her describe some of the stories, but Jen, right now I'm thinking of the story of the picture you showed of Chris. It wasn't Chris, the other guy and holding the baby against, I'll let her share the story, but you guys, she has manifested so many amazing things. And the reason people might be like, why are we talking about manifesting when this is a health and wellness program, right? We all know that stress is a huge piece that impacts our health negatively and it's one of the major things that causes inflammation in the body. And so today we're going to talk about how to manifest the life that we all want, especially with health, wealth, and relationships, because those are very often, those three topics tend to cause a lot of stress, or one or more topics can tend to cause a lot of stress in our life. And I think we've all been there at some point in time. And if we are still feeling stuck in any of these areas, and quite honestly, you can use Jen's tactics in any area in life, it will help you to experience freedom, joy, and really bring in the things that you're looking for to have in life so that you feel more ease. It's very awesome. So you guys, the way I met Jen is through this incredible program, PR event called Unfair Advantage. She and her partner, Chris Winfield, are the masterminds, the founders of helping people really learn how to show up. And I think that's part of manifesting too, right? Like visualizing yourself and showing up to be the person who you want to be. And she is incredible at helping people do that. We are so lucky to have her here. And at the end of this call, we'll talk a little bit about Unfair Advantage in case anyone is interested or know someone, just because we have to. It's such an amazing event. So thank you, Jen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jenny. I'm so excited to talk to your people, because anybody that is in your community is somebody that I want to know, because you are one of legitimately my favorite human beings on the planet. Just so you know that. I'm not just saying that. Like, I love you so much. So I'm really excited to be here. So everyone that's on this call and everyone that's watching on the replay, you're in good hands.
Thank you. Well, I feel the same way about you, and this tribe is really amazing, I have to say. I get teary-eyed. They all know that sometimes when I talk about them, because they're such beautiful humans. And let's talk, Jen, a little bit about what brought you into like learning how to manifest. Tell us a little bit about your story, where you were at. I'm also thinking like Broadway right now. Like, where were you at before all this? Because it's such a great story. And what did you do to begin manifesting? Which, by the way, like, I just have to say, I remember you saying like you weren't really into manifesting. Like it was like kind of a woo-woo weird thing. Like, I don't know if I believe in it, right?
Totally. So back in the day, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an actress. I've been performing my entire life. I studied musical theater since I was like singing and dancing on tables since I was like 2, since I could speak. And that was all I wanted to do with my life. So I moved to New York City to do just that. And when at this point in time in my life, I was like not into personal development. My mom was actually a Reiki master. And I thought that that was, yeah, the weirdest thing in the world. I was like, this shit is too woo for me. I didn't even know what the word woo was. I was like, this is weird. And I don't believe in any of this stuff. And I moved to New York City. And the first show that I saw when I moved here was The Wedding Singer on Broadway, like the Adam Sandler movie. And I went there not even knowing anything about the show other than I saw the movie. And I went with my friend Pat, and we saw the show, and I saw this woman, Felicia Finley, play the role of Linda. And Linda is the bitch that leaves Robbie Hart at the altar. So she's the ex-girlfriend. And in the show, she has this unbelievable part where she's this wannabe rock star. And I watched Felicia play this part, and it was like God came down and said, you need to be this role. Like this is just what you absolutely need to do with your life. I don't know what it was. It was like this, I got this serious emotional reaction to this role. And usually you would think like, oh, when you see like Cosette from Les Mis, like people get an emotional response. I'm like, Linda from The Wedding Singer, I got this emotional response. But I said to my friend Pat, I was like, I'm going to play that role one day. I promise you, I'm going to play this role. So during that time, I was introduced to ironically, and I don't necessarily really like love this book anymore, but I was introduced to the book The Secret during that time. And I was really into Oprah. So like anything that Oprah was talking about, I was like, all right, I'll try it. And so this book, The Secret, tells you, okay, if you think about something, you can cause it to become real. And I'm like, awesome. This sounds good. Yes, it sounds a whole bunch like a lot like my mom's woo-woo stuff. And like, but I believed it a little bit more than I didn't. And I talk about that a lot with UA Live and with our company and everything, because we never ask anybody to believe 100%. We never really believe 100% in anything. You just need to believe a little bit more than you don't to take the first step. So I believed a little bit more than I didn't that this would work, that I could create something. And so in the book, like it tells you to manifest like a pen or something small. And I'm like, I'm not going to manifest a pen. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to manifest Broadway. So I decided that I was going to do an experiment with this book and create what I wanted to create, which was being Linda in The Wedding Singer. And this was the time when I was in musical theater school studying to audition for Broadway shows and be in musical theater. So I did all the things that the book said. I made a vision board that had like the cast album recording picture on it and a picture of Felicia Finley. And every night I would visualize myself playing this role in detail. Like I had a really great time with this because at that time I was in this really tiny little itty bitty dorm in this weird building on the Upper West Side. And, you know, when I was in school, and it was not comfortable. So I'd have a hard time sleeping. So the way that I would help myself fall asleep is I would imagine myself playing this role. I felt the costume on my body. I could see the audience. I could hear what it sounded like. I knew what the theater looked like. I knew it so well. I would like sing the entire song in my mind, and I would feel all the feelings that it would feel like, sometimes so much that it would make me cry. So what I was doing at that time is I was actually making my subconscious create a memory. I didn't know I was doing this at the time, but I was, because the subconscious doesn't necessarily know the difference between a real memory and one that you make up in your mind. So I believed that I actually really did this, that I played this role. And then I went even further. You know, the book tells you to like act as if and speak about it. And in my creation process, I say that the steps are see, believe, do, and then receive. So the seeing it and then believing it and believing, you know, that I was this character, also involved me telling people I'm going to be Linda in The Wedding Singer. So I would annoy everybody in school and tell them all like that's all I wanted to do. And when I chose all of her songs for my final demo songs in school. And when I was practicing them, I would pretend that I was rehearsing for the Broadway show. Like I was pretending. Meanwhile, guys, you never need to know the how. Like you don't need to know how it's going to happen, because I had no idea how this would ever happen. In fact, like there was a little piece of me that was like, this is actually impossible. So I'm just like having fun fantasizing and like doing this experiment with this book, and then I'll be able to prove everybody wrong, like the secret doesn't really work or whatever. I was really like, did not know how this would happen. So then it came time to actually take action, right? Because I talk about this a lot with the law of attraction. And Jenny, I like that you said that I was a fairy or magical in the beginning, because I can talk about this because I'm not a fairy and I'm not magical. And but the trick is I take action. I do the scary thing. So you can sit around and visualize all day long and think about it all day long and believe all day long and write it all down and look at your vision board. But if you don't take those steps, if you don't take action, nothing happens. The way the law of attraction works, though, is that I've made that memory in my mind. I visualized it so deeply that it was so real that my limiting beliefs and my fears became irrelevant. So the action became so much easier, right? So the action taking becomes easier when you do the visualization because it's no longer scary. You're familiar with it. I'm like, oh yeah, I did this already in my subconscious mind. So I went to the audition for the show. It was my very first audition ever in New York City. And there was like, I swear, there must have been 1,000 people there. So the open call. I go dressed in like my Linda outfit that I like pulled together. I was very into it. Still very scared. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I got this. It was like very deep in the back of my mind. It was like very deep in the subconscious that I felt this confidence. So I auditioned for the part. I get called back again and called back again and called back again. And I'm down to the final 2. It's me and this girl, Nika. I remember her very well. We're battling it out. So Nika would go in and sing, and then I would hear her and be like, oh my God, she's amazing. I suck, right? Like all the limiting beliefs that come in, and then I would go in and sing, and then she would go in, and then I would go in. And at the end, what ends up happening? They let us both go, and I find out Nika gets the part. I did not get the part. Okay. So this is where this is the make or break moment, right? I didn't get it. I could have said, all right, I didn't get it. That sucks. None of this shit works. This is all BS, and completely give up and be done. But because I did that work, the visualizing, the believing, the seeing, because I planted those seeds, because I did that, I really still believed that I was going to, I was like, this just isn't the time. And I didn't give up, and I kept taking action. And that's, again, where, the law of attraction, that's how it works. It makes your fears become irrelevant. Like, that's what it does. It's not the magic. Yes, there is like attracts like, yes, but it helps you to not be afraid to keep going, even when it doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out necessarily the first time. So
that's huge. And I just have to pause really quick right there, because that is such a key piece, especially for those of you who are thinking about this in terms of your health journey, right? And Jen knows this very well, because Jen also has an entire career in the health industry. She's very talented. But you guys, it's a journey. It's layers. And I wrote divine timing, which is exactly what Jen said. There is divine timing. When you all know my story from the parasites in the Lyme, and I could have given up, and I could have said, I'm doing everything right. Fuck you, excuse my language, screw you. That's what I wanted to say to my body. I was so upset. I'm doing everything right, and you're still not healing. But it's that trust in the divine timing, trust that everything's going to work out if you keep taking action and seeing yourself healed. And I think that so many of us can get to a point where our mind really easily justifies, oh no, this isn't going to work for me. This obviously isn't like my thing, or it's not the road I meant to go down. It's that Jen and Chris always talk about the extra mile, right? It's going that one extra mile, that one little tiny bit more effort that can tip you over into such beauty. So sorry, I just had to interrupt, because that's so.
Okay. I love that. And I love tying it into how this does go with your health, because it completely does.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you didn't give up, you kept going. And because you saw yourself healthy so deeply, you saw it, you had that vision, you were not going to give up. But maybe if you hadn't have done that visualization, you didn't necessarily fully believe, you would have given up, right? Because it takes away that belief that it can actually happen for you, because you didn't plant the seed in your subconscious. So,
and consciously, it's not easy, right?
No.
Like consciously when you weren't called back, like it's not like, oh, that's okay, I'm for sure gonna get it. Like you have to work through the discomfort. Like there's a lot going on in the mind that we have to work through and be like, wait a second, hold on, let's pull back the reins. I've got this. But that takes effort. That takes choosing conscious thoughts.
Yep. And that's where, you got to get out of your comfort zone. So nothing happens inside your comfort zone. So I had to get super uncomfortable. And I had found out that a director was actually the second national tour for the show was going out. And there was a director that was doing it that was casting a different show at the time. And I saw auditions for that show. So here's where I had to get super uncomfortable and do the thing that was really scary, even though it scared me. So, you have to do things that are unconventional sometimes. You have to take risks if you want to get what, the thing that you really are after. So I decided to sneak into this audition for this other show and sing the songs from The Wedding Singer just so he could hear me and so he could see me. This is a big no-no in musical theater land. This is a no-no. And everyone told me, like, that's not smart. You're going to ruin your career. And I'm like, I don't care. This is like, I have to just take this risk. And it scared me a lot, but I just had this belief. It was like submitted into my mind that there was nothing that like was going to stop me from doing this. And it wasn't conscious. Like you said, Jenny, it was like from something deeper that I had planted the seed with earlier on from all of that visualizing. Mm-hmm. And so I went in, I sang Linda at the Footloose audition, different show, but I sang Wedding Singer songs. And the director comes out into the holding room. This never happens. And he's like, you, come here. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And he pulls me aside and he was like, listen, we want you for Wedding Singer, but we're not casting it right now. So here's my card. Keep in touch with me and I'll let you know when we're casting it. And I'm like, oh my God, I have the key to the kingdom. So I took that man's information and I emailed him every single week for, I think it was 6 months, and he never responded to me, but I still emailed every single week. And I was like, hey, what's up, Chris? How are you? Or sorry, Chris, thinking of my boyfriend. His name was Seth. Hi, Seth. How are you? Like, I'm doing great. I got a dog today. Here's a picture of him. Like, I was literally just saying like a whole bunch of
remember
garbage.
Me.
Yes. Remember me. That's it. Remember me, trying to make a really follow up. And so the fortune is in follow up, we always say, and it really was for me in this. So finally, this man answers, brings me back in, another audition process, get an email in my inbox with a contract. Congratulations, we want to welcome you into the Broadway National Touring cast of The Wedding Singer. Your role will be ensemble/Linda understudy. So I still didn't get it. Still didn't get it. This is still not happening. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Yay, I'm in the show. But here's where it gets really tricky. So for 2 months, I had to do that thing where I go and I show up every day and I watch somebody else play the role that I knew that I was better at. And I had to just sit there and do that. And I actually, I played I wore a fat suit in the show for 2 months. That was my role. Like, I was in the ensemble. I played a lot of different characters, but one of them I had to wear a fat suit. And I showed up every single show and I watched this other girl play this role and I learned everything to a T so that when it was my turn, I would be completely ready. So here's you can put this into health, prepare yourself, because we say luck is when preparation meets the moment of opportunity. Right? So you're always preparing yourself for that moment when you will be completely healed and feel incredible. So prepare what your life is going to look like when you feel 100%. Plan it out. Have that vacation booked. Tell your family, by this day, we're going to go here and I'm going to be doing amazing and I'm going to hike up a mountain. I know that when this opportunity comes, I'm going to crush it.
Yeah.
So finally, when the show goes on the road, we put the show up for 4 months and I played the fat lady in the show. And then when we decided to take it on the road, the director finally calls me and he's like, we're moving it around. You're going to have the role for the rest of the tour. And this is how I believe in the law of attraction now, because when I finally played that role for the first time in front of an audience, the exact thing that I saw, and I'm not exaggerating, girls, I don't exaggerate, I do, but not with this. This is legit. Everything that I saw was the vision that I had put myself to sleep with every night years before. The costume, the exact theater, the lights, the sound, it was so powerful that I walked backstage after I sang that first song. I completely collapsed onto the floor, was hysterically crying, and I was like, okay, now I know that anything that I want to create in this world, I can create. This works. It was amazing. And you know what? I don't know if I can share my screen, but if I can show like an unbelievable, the picture I show at UA, Jenny.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Okay.
Can you share?
I'm going to try. Hold on. Yeah, I can. Can you guys see?
Oh yeah.
That's Felicia Finley, and that's me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So that was my first. So you asked me, it's a long story, but why I believe in the law of attraction, why I'm so good at manifesting. It was a really long journey, but I believe now that it works, because that's all I needed to believe that it worked. And from learning from that experience, I've used it for pretty much everything else that I've gotten in my life, including where I live and my partner in life and my current business, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Seriously, you guys, I have heard story after story after story, and we're not going to tell them all because we don't have time, but it is unreal. I've never, ever met another human who can manifest to such accuracy, like such detail. And as you're sharing that story, Jen, my whole body just had chills. I know that I'm meant to be hearing this again from you, so I'm so excited for all of us, including myself. So that is an incredible story, right? And amazing to be able to witness both, well, after the fact, for you to look back and be like, wow, look at the perseverance, look at all the steps that I took, so many things that you did to ensure you would get that role, even though, again, you didn't know how. You're like, okay, at first I didn't get the role, and then I didn't get the role again. Like, it didn't seem like it was working out. It seemed like an uphill battle, but you kept at it. And what day? I'm like, what day is it today? On Monday, we did a call for everyone who started this current cohort, this current group, and we talked about what's our really big why. What is your why for healing your body? And it's not, I want to get out of pain. That is not it, right? Maybe you're a grandparent and you're like, yeah, if I get out of pain, I get to play with my grandkids. That's a bigger why. And so when Jen was doing this, like, you had such a heartfelt why, you had such a big, absolute desire that needed to be filled by playing this role. And that's a big piece of what kept you going.
100%. And, you know, they say, so you have to keep in mind, like, it's not going to work out exactly the way that you map out necessarily. It could be better. So they say this or something better. And right. I don't know if any of you guys have heard that term, but like, if you look at it, like, my initial dream was to be on Broadway, but The Wedding Singer wasn't on Broadway anymore when I was ready to audition. It was the tour. It was the Broadway national tour. So, you know, and then I got to tour the country. So I didn't know, like, the initial dream was Broadway. I didn't know the universe was going to give me a tour. And right, like, with Chris Winfield, like, manifesting that, like, the picture, I can tell that story later or now or whatever, but it usually isn't as what you think that it's going to be initially, but it usually is better.
So that's such an amazing story. And that's, you know, specifically to your career, right? And then I just shared with you, and you guys know in depth kind of my story of manifesting, taking action, seeing, believing, receiving, and doing is what I did to heal as well. And so we want to talk about, Jen, like, can you break down a little bit in a kind of equation or step by step? What does the see, believe, receive do? And let's talk about finances too, like money, because I know a lot of people who have chronic health conditions, very often we're sucked dry from so many doctors that give us results or don't give us results, and medications, like, you just go around and around and around without finally getting an answer. So what does it mean? Like, how would, if someone's watching this, and I know a bunch of people are going to watch this on the recording, what would someone say who's like, okay, I hear your story. I know it's possible, but I still don't really know, like, what do I start with? How do I begin this process?
Yeah, it's really easy. You can do one little thing every day that'll kickstart you into that mindset. And I never like to give people a million things to do. So this one thing can kickstart your manifesting. And it's really cool to do because you can look back and see that you actually do create everything that I have journal entries that are proof that I've created things that I want to create. So Chris and I every morning do a future gratitude list. And before I even met Chris, I was doing this. I just didn't call it a future gratitude list. So every morning I do a regular gratitude list, like things I'm grateful for, just anything, right now, like today, I'm so grateful I get to talk to Jenny Carr's community. Today, I'm so grateful for my new puppy. I'm grateful for Chris. I'm grateful for my apartment. But then the second gratitude list is the most important one. And this is where you can start manifesting. And you say that you're grateful for things that haven't happened yet as if they've already happened. So before I met my love, I said every single day, the number one thing, I think I have the journals in here somewhere, but I'm so grateful I met the love of my life today. And where the believing comes in is you say it a couple of times. I'm so grateful I met the love of my life today. And like, what does that feel like? Oh my God, I'm so grateful I met the love of my life today. I'm so grateful that I made 6 sales for UA Live today. Oh my God. I am so grateful I brought in 6 amazing human beings to come to UA Live. I'm so grateful that my bank account hit $1 million today. It could be anything. And feel the gratitude for it. See it in your mind. Imagine yourself telling your best friend, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Guess what? I made $1 million today. Imagine that. See it, believe it. So while you're writing the list, that's where you can do it. Because it's like, whenever you say, I'm so grateful, and you get into gratitude, it becomes an unbelievable, powerful manifesting tool. Because when you show gratitude, you feel and you believe, right? And it's impossible to feel anxious, fearful, angry, and grateful at the same time. Gratitude rules all. So be grateful for the things. I'm so grateful I'm completely healthy. I'm so grateful that I feel so energized and alive and healthy today.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so I have a very a monkey mind head that goes.
No, you have a human mind.
I have a human mind, yes. And so what do you tell people who are then, okay, yes, I love doing this exercise, but then I call it the shady bitch sometimes, right? This little mind that shows up as yeah, but ... What do we do with the yeah, buts?
The yeah, buts are so real. Those are so real. Limiting beliefs are for real, and they're a real thing, and they creep in and they tell us that we can't do things all day long. Right? Because we have this part of our brain called the amygdala, which is the lizard brain. And that part of our brain, the amygdala, wants to keep us safe. And it doesn't want us to do anything scary, right? Because it wants us to, back in the day, it protected us from doing scary things and getting us killed. So it's still there, and we don't want to do the scary things, so that whenever we go out of our comfort zone and we say things like, oh my God, I made $1 million today, or I met the love of my life today, those things are scary actually, because it means that you have to do things outside of your comfort zone to get those things. So then immediately a lizard brain starts making all these excuses as to why you can't get that thing to keep you safe.
And they're totally real, right? They're such legit,
so real
excuses.
Completely. You're not good enough for me. You're never going to meet the love of your life. Are you you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. There's so many women in New York City. There's not enough men. He's not out there. You're going to be single the rest of your life. You're going to, you're never whatever. Or I've been sick. You're never going to feel better. You're never going to feel better. You're going to feel like this forever. There is no cure. It's never going to get better. Those thoughts can come in so easily because they're easier for those thoughts to come in and to just retract into your victimhood than it is to take action and do the thing that's scary. It just is, right? I go into victim mode all the time. I work really hard every single day to stay out of it.
Yes.
Chris says all the time, I work really hard to make my life easy. Really hard. I do shit every morning. I meditate. Now I'm meditating twice a day, 20 minutes each time. And I'm making time to do that to keep myself from having those, what did you call them? Those so brilliantly put.
I said the shady bitch, but those little but thoughts.
Yeah, buts and the shady bitch in my head. So when the shady bitch comes into your head, what I like to do to shut it down is I like to use Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins does the 5-second rule. And if you don't know the 5-second rule, what that is it's basically counting backwards from 5 and going to a trigger thought. I mean, you can do it for making decisions, but I like to do it to a trigger thought. So I think about those things, those moments when I'm manifesting and I really feel it, like Wedding Singer. So I had that visualization of me being on stage singing that song. So that was such a clear vision in my mind. I could go there at any second, right? I could go there now. It's so clear to me. Yeah. So if it's your health, imagining yourself in the most healthy body of all time, feeling so vibrant and healthy and grateful that you feel good. And maybe that's you hiking up a mountain with your kids. Maybe that's what represents that. And you've got that visualization of you hiking up a mountain with your kids, feeling incredible, right? Anytime shady bitch comes in and says, you'll never get healthy, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At 1, go to that place where you're on the mountain feeling amazing, climbing up with your kids and be there. So that's, as soon as I hear a shady bitch, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, trigger thought. And
chills, more chills. It's so good. And that brings us into the present, you guys, and really the future too, right? Like we go present. Out. Yeah.
Present. It is happening, right?
It's happening. Exactly. Oh, that's so good. That is amazing. Okay. I do not know what time it is. I'm like, where are we on time? Okay, I would love to open this up to see if Patty or Nancy or anyone has questions really quickly. And you guys, this is, honestly, you have no idea how lucky we are to have Jen here with us. So if you have any specific questions about like your situation, feel free to use this time right now, because Jen, I really appreciate that you're not overloading us with like all these things to do. There's very simple steps to apply to see the manifestations and transformations take place in our life. So Nancy or Patty, you guys are very lucky right now. Do you have any questions or want to run by a thought by Jen? Feel free to just unmute yourself. Or maybe you already are unmuted. Patty, you're unmuted.
I'm unmuted. My challenge is, and it's complicated, and I'll just try to narrow it down. But my challenge is that basically I'm suffering from a brain injury due to iatrogenic illness from pharmaceuticals. So my brain, and it's just going to take time to upload GABA receptors and get my brain, to back to where it needs to be. But my challenge is my brain is constantly telling me negative thoughts, constantly. I mean, I know they're not my real thoughts. I know they're chemical thoughts. I know it's brain damage. I know I wouldn't normally think this way, but that's what my brain does. Constant negative thoughts. Conjuring up positive thoughts is like a near impossible challenge for me.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
If you say it's a near impossible challenge, it will always be a near impossible challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our words have so much power.
Yeah.
But keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted this little thing like that.
Yeah. No, that's it. That is my challenge with the 5-second rule. My brain just kind of goes off on its own all the time. It's everywhere. It's like negative looping thoughts constantly.
Yeah, I hear that. And I just went to this amazing meditation course over the past 4 days. And that's why I said to you, Jenny, you don't have a monkey mind, you have a human mind. So our minds think involuntarily. Emily Fletcher told me this, and I will never forget it ever, ever, ever. Our minds think involuntarily, just like our hearts beat involuntarily. So we can't, when they say in meditation, like clear your mind and don't think about anything, we can't do that. Our minds are going to think thoughts no matter what. And if we try to make them stop thinking thoughts, we're going to get a headache. It's not going to work. Our minds think. So it's okay. So the first thing I want you to do is forgive yourself and don't be mad at yourself for thinking those thoughts. That's okay.
Yeah,
Give
I'm not,
yourself
yeah.
permission to think
Yeah.
the thoughts. And I get it. You don't know, like you can't go to the positive thoughts. But I'm going to ask you right now, what's something really amazing that you're grateful for right now in your life?
That I'm really grateful for in my life. I'm grateful for my kid, he's not a child anymore, my 28-year-old who's doing well and happy and in a good relationship, and is just turned into a wonderful, positive human being. I'm very grateful. He's what keeps me going much of the time.
Did you just feel good and have good thoughts when you were talking about your son?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are very capable of having good thoughts. So what I want you to do is forgive yourself for thinking the bad thoughts. It's okay. You can think them. It's not going to manifest bad things. Allow yourself to think them. But you just sat there and I saw your face light up. I saw you change when you talked about your son. So you have a perfect trigger thought. Anytime you decide that you want to have a beautiful thought and you want to have a positive thought, you're capable because you just did it. So it's not impossible. It's definitely possible. We just did it together. We watched it happen. You can watch this recording again if you don't believe yourself tomorrow. Or Jenny tells you and you don't believe her tomorrow. You did. So I want you to, every single time you're feeling like you're just in a bad mood or negative or having all these bad thoughts that are coming, because they're going to come, I want you to just remind yourself, even set a reminder on your phone or something. Think about your son. What's his name?
Taylor.
Taylor. Think about how grateful you are for Taylor. That's it. It's that simple. And that's easy for you to do because you love Taylor and you are grateful for Taylor. So just thinking about Taylor is going to get you into a state of gratitude and feeling good.
Okay.
That's so good. That's so beautiful. And I want to add to that, Patty, when you are in a state of gratitude, you're raising your vibrational frequency in your body, which allows the cells in your body, in your tissues, in your organs, everywhere. It allows them to regenerate with such ease. It allows the toxins to leave your body more easily. So if it's not really a just, right? But it's this simple little act that Jen just gave you has a direct correlation not only with feeling good mentally and emotionally, but the ability and speed at which your body can heal. So amazing.
And so
Thank
it
you,
doesn't
Jen.
matter what the gratitude is for. It doesn't matter. It's just feeling gratitude in your body. And the quickest way for you to get there is to think about Taylor. So think about Taylor.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I see you've totally lit up, Patty, right now. So awesome.
Yeah. He's definitely my light.
Oh, so wonderful. What about you, Miss Nancy? Can you hear us? I just saw you walk. She does the double. She's has her computer screen and then she has her phone that she follows.
Oh, yep.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I still have my sore paw that I've been complaining about for the last 2 months, which is so minor by comparison to what other people have in the group, but it's bothering me. But actually the bigger thing that is bothering me at the moment, and it's sort of perfect timing, I have made my self a commitment to step into coaching women sort of in the 50, 70, 80 range, that kind of age range, to really explore how they can remove the blocks in their lives and really get to the place that they want to be in their life. And my block is that I go into overwhelm. I just got off of a call, because I'm trying to suss out who those people are. I just got off a call with a friend of mine, and I was like so totally overwhelmed by her knowledge. And it's like, I've lived 70 years on this planet, but I still go to that place of oh, everybody's smarter than me. Everybody can do this better than me, and keeps stopping me, as opposed to you, Jen, and you, Jenny, who, you know, have sort of stepped in and said, I can do that too. I tend to go in the other direction.
Well,
You don't know the behind the scenes.
thank you for sharing that, because I told you one story where I decided I could like to go for it, but I didn't tell you all the stories when I was comparing myself to other people and letting it take me down. There are plenty of those. So we're human beings and we all do that. Jenny, raise your hand, Jenny and Patty. Have you done that before? I mean, compared yourself to somebody else and let it make you stuck? I mean, that's like a constant. I said I work really hard to make my life easy. I do not check social media for the first half of my morning, because if I do, I'll start going down the rabbit hole of what everybody else is doing and why I'm not as good. And it's a normal thing. So the first thing to do is to forgive yourself and give yourself permission and say it's okay that you're having this situation, because everybody does. And I can guarantee you that even the most, I mean, I talk to some of the most famous people and like people with the most Instagram followers in the world and like all these big time people, and every single person, every single one of them deals with this on a regular basis. So forgive yourself. You're not the only one. You are one of everyone. And there's, you know, we have to, like I said, it's not going to magically go away. I have to work really hard to make that go away. And I have to put, you know, some boundaries on myself. And the first thing that I do, you know, when imposter syndrome comes up, like the basis of everything is I create a badass list. And I know Jenny knows about my badass list big time, but I'm going to tell you, Nancy, that you need to create one. Okay. So right when we get off this call, you are going to make a list of all the times in your life when you were a complete and total badass. When you helped a client crush their goals and they wrote you the best testimonial or said, thank you, you changed my life. Or a time, I don't know if you have kids, when you gave birth to your child, or when you got married, or when you spoke on a stage and just felt like you were crushing it. Those times, and I know you have a bunch of them because I'm sure you do. Yes. I want you to write down all those times, and it could be a 5-page long list. I want you to go to town every single time you felt like a badass in your life. So you've got that documented. Then I want you to go back and read that list out loud. And I want you to read it as if you were reading about somebody else that's not you. You're on social media, you're scrolling, and you're reading about this woman and all the things that she's done. And I want you to feel really jealous of her. And I want you to feel really, really, really intimidated by her. I'm like, oh, I'm clearly not doing enough because this woman's got it together. And then I want you to come to remind yourself, oh, that's me. That's me. Okay.
Yep.
And anytime you start to go down that rabbit hole, compare and despair, right? I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I need to be like this person. I need to be like that person. I need to do this because she's doing it this way. Come back to you as a badass. Read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel at that person.
I like that.
You are enough. Just as you are, you're more than enough. The second that you start to look over there is the second that you start falling behind in the race, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's such good advice.
Yep.
So good. And
I
Nancy,
like
that is going to put you into the perfect position to see, believe, receive, and do. Right? So you're like, ooh, fully embracing your badassness self.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I actually can see myself doing. I can see myself working with all these women. And I believe it now. And I'm going to receive so I can really take action. What an amazing activity to do before you go through that.
Right.
I love it. Thank you, Jen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So good. Any other quick questions? Jen, I am so grateful to have you here. I've learned a bunch, or like relearned a bunch, because we constantly have to have reminders. It's so easy to be like, ooh, like my gratitude journal, I've totally fallen off the wagon. I'm like, what am I doing? I need to like get back on and do that because it's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Every right? Every time I follow the steps that Jen often shares, and especially you guys should follow her on Facebook. She is always giving these amazing tips. One time she talked, not one time, but multiple times she's talked about her morning routine and evening routine. I've never been so productive in my life when I follow that. And also, one of the things I love about Jen is how open and vulnerable she is on social media, so that we can really see. She kind of like opens up this crack and lets us all in to see how she does work really hard to have life easy. Right? Like this morning, this woman was on Good Morning America this morning, right?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she wrote this post about like how it was so uncomfortable for her to actually be in the position to be on the Good Morning America, but how all of the pieces fell into place for her to be on TV. And so Jen, I just thank you for sharing with us and like walking us through step by step what's going on in your mind, so that we can all relate and be like, oh, it's totally normal, right? It's totally normal to have all of these constant, crazy, sometimes negative thoughts. And it's, Nancy, it's totally normal to feel not enough. Maybe like, and your perception may be that Jen and I have it all together and we step up and go, but like we both have to work really hard to get there, and everyone in the world has to do that. So really quickly too, Jen, will you tell everyone about Unfair Advantage? This may or may not be anything you're interested in, but if it's not, maybe you know someone who is. It has nothing to do, well, actually it has a ton to do with manifesting on your end and Chris's end.
Yeah,
so
people
much.
don't know, I sneak it in, but it does for sure.
And actually, I think it has a bunch to do with manifesting on my end. Now I think about that too, right? So when I wrote my book, like I visualized helping thousands and thousands of people, which I have done. And I always saw myself, I still see myself being on Oprah, being on Good Morning America, being on these really big platforms to help millions of people. And the way that talk about imposter syndrome. I'm some little like cowgirl from Wyoming. How would I ever land any of that, right? It was because I somehow manifested this incredible relationship with Jen and Chris, and they have shown me the exact steps on how to do that. So will you just share us a tiny bit about Unfair Advantage Live and what you guys do in case it's a good fit?
Yeah, Unfair Advantage Live is a 3-day event in New York City that connects entrepreneurs with the media. So if you have a business that's a personal brand and you're helping people and you've got a message that you want to share, and you are one of those people that's like, oh my God, I know that I need to get this out there. I just don't know how. Like, I don't know how to connect with the media. I see everybody else, that like other people that are doing the same thing as me, and why are they the ones on TV? Why are they the ones how did Jenny Carr get in Well and Good? Like, how does that happen? We teach you how to do that. Not only do we teach you how to do that, we connect you with the actual people that can get you there. So on the second day, we have a media mixer where we bring in the top media in the country, and you get to mix and mingle with them. That's how Jenny developed her relationship with Well and Good, right? That's how you got a lot of your stuff. And we talk about how to leverage the media that you get. We talk about how to amplify the media you get, how to connect with influencers, how to follow up, how to do all the things. But the most important thing that we do at Unfair Advantage Live is we connect you with other incredible people. So it's all about connection at the end of the day. We bring in, it's 100 people this time, handpicked, application only, invite only, humans that are just the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. And so people always say, like, I came for the media, but I stayed for the community, because the community is so incredibly powerful. Yeah.
Or chills.
Next event is May. Well, Jenny gets chills because she knows. She's been there a ton of times and experienced magic and has gotten the results and seen the ROI. So the next event is May 14th, 15th, and 16th in New York City. If you want to apply, you can go to, typing in the chat, unfairadvantagelive.com and apply, and we'd love to have you.
Or just let me know and I'll hook you guys up.
Jenny can connect you.
But I have to say, Jen, that the biggest thing I got out of this, and what you and Chris are so good at doing, is helping people see our potential, helping us see our potential. And what's the right word? When I left New York City the first time I went to this event, I was able to step into the person that I wanted to become. Not even the person who I was at that moment. This actually might make me cry in a minute, but the person who I wanted to become. And Nancy and Patty and everyone who's listening to the recording, my challenge for you, my goal for you is to step into the person that you want to become. Be that person now. Act, think, feel, do as that person would. It's so, so powerful. Thank you, Jen. I love you so much. I really wish I could give you an in-person hug, but sending you a huge virtual hug. I'm so grateful for your time.
So grateful for you. It was wonderful to chat with you ladies. And let me know if you need anything. I'm on Facebook, friend me. And if you want to connect, have Jenny connect us.
Yeah, awesome. All right.
Okay.
Have a beautiful day, Nancy and Patty. Have a beautiful day, you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.